welcome to Newsnight. Now, tonight we'll do probably one of those Newsnight episodes that not many people get to see. This will be the second time we are probably doing a special edition of Newsnight. And the reason we do this is that many people out there think literature is boring, literature is for the elderly, or literature is for just those that are maybe romantic. You can go on and explain this. But it's been a passion of Andrew's, and he can quote probably from cover to cover some of his great philosophers. And so tonight I want to put him on the spot, because the last time we did speak about Socrates, and he did recite one or two things. So Andrew, welcome, old man of the clan and also CEO of the Independent.
Man of broken hearts,
yes,
and general of the UPD.
So today I want to put you on the spot, because last time you gave us a recital from Socrates. All right, so now what else can you do? Because the thinking is that we must encourage children, because we have viewers who are in secondary school and high school and university that would be interested in going to this kind of, this type of education system, and maybe this is the kind of thing they're interested in and have never been encouraged by anybody. So it's an opportunity for you to encourage someone, build their confidence.
Okay, I am going to recite a combination of history, philosophy, literature, and geography.
All right.
In just one recital. To combine those,
yes,
I'm going to recite, I think it must be chapter 8 of a book called Heroes of History by Will Durant. Will Durant is one of my most favorite authors.
You've quoted him a couple of times on this show. Yes.
And when he's introducing his chapter on ancient Greece, and he says, "Who were the ancient Greeks, and whence did they come? That they came from all directions. They came from Western Asia, from the islands of the Aegean Sea, from Crete, Egypt, and the Balkans, some even from Scythia, i.e., southern Russia. They pastured flocks, tilled the earth, traded, built villages and towns, fought wars, and submitted to chieftains or kings like Agamemnon of Mycenae and Codrus of Athens." Now, the Mycenaeans probably derived their civilization from Crete and Egypt, while the settlements of eastern Greece seem to have imported their cultural elements from Western Asia and the Aegean Isles. The meeting of Asiatic and Cretan subtlety and Egyptian refinements with the barbaric figure of the tribes that had come down into Hellas from the north seems to have laid the biological basis of the glory that was Greece. Now, the geographical spread. More important than this cross-fertilization was the astonishing spread of the Greeks throughout the ancient Mediterranean world, from the Byzantium that became Constantinople to those pillars of Hercules which became Gibraltar. Whether in flight from Dorian or other invasions, or to relieve their own crowding growth, the Greeks, in the 6 centuries between Agamemnon and Pericles, sent the adventurous surplus from Attica and the Peloponnesus to establish Greek colonies as far north as the Crimea, where Orestes found Iphigenia, to as far east as Colchis, where Jason found Medea and the Golden Fleece on the southern shores of the Black Sea and the eastern shores of the Mediterranean. Let us tarry there for a while, for along that coastline or near it, the Greeks, before they made Athens famous, built a string of 12 cities which came to be called the Dodecapolis of Ionia. These 12 contributed as much to Greek civilization as the cities of Attica. At Teos, the poet Anacreon, 470 BC, sang of inspiring wines and ambidextrous love. At Miletus, 600 BC, Thales established the first school of Greek philosophy and powerful advanced Greek astronomy and geometry. Now, Heraclitus. At Ephesus, whose temple to Artemis Diana was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, Heraclitus, 300 years before Plato, expounded in enigmatic apothegms a philosophy of evolution that must have delighted Hegel, Nietzsche, Spencer, and Darwin. 2 ideas fascinated him. Change is universal, and energy is indestructible and everlasting. Nothing is, everything becomes. Everything is always ceasing to be what it is and becoming what it will be. All things flow, pantarei, and you can never dip your foot in the same water in a flowing stream. The universe is one vast, ceaseless, restless becoming. Now, here in a sentence or two is half the philosophy that Hegel expounded in 1830 AD. But under the flux, Heraclitus saw a never-diminished reality, which he called fire, by which he seems to have meant force or energy. The individual soul is a passing tongue in this endlessly changing flame of life. Man is a fitful moment in that flame, kindled and put out like a light in the night. God is the eternal spirit, the omnipresent energy of the fluent world. And in this ever-changing flux, anything can in time change into its opposite. Good can become evil, evil becomes good, life becomes death, death becomes life. Opposites are two sides of the same thing. Strength, competition, is the father of all and the king of all. Some he has marked out to be gods, some to be men. Some he has made free, some he has made slaves. In the end, Heraclitus concluded, the competition between individuals, groups, institutions, states, and empires constitutes nature's supreme court, from whose verdict there is no appeal. Now, let's go to literature. Sappho. Just across the water from these Ionian cities lay the island of Lesbos, busy with commerce and sparkling with poetry. In its capital, Mytilene, lived the second most famous of Greek women. Sappho, as she called herself in a soft native dialect, was born about 612 BC. She was not known for her beauty, but she had the charms of daintiness, refinement, and tenderness. At 20, she married a rich merchant, who soon died. Eager for an active life, she opened a school for young women, to whom she taught music, poetry, and dancing. Apparently, it was the first finishing school in known history. Manless, she fell in love with one of her pupils, Atthis, and went almost insane when the girl accepted the attentions of a young man. Atthis' parents removed her from the school. Sappho apparently had this in mind when she wrote that she, meaning Atthis, wept full sore to leave me behind and said, alas, how sad our lot. Sappho, I swear it's against my will I leave you. And I answered her, go your way rejoicing, but remember me, for you know how I doted upon you. And if you remember not, oh, then I will remind you how dear and beautiful was the life we led together. For with many garland of violets and sweet roses mingled, you decked your flowing locks by my side, and with many a woven necklet made of 100 blossoms, your dainty throat, and with unguent in plenty, precious and royal, you anointed your fair young skin in my bosom. And no hill was there, no holy place, no water brook, whither we did not go. And nor ever did the teeming noises of the early spring fill the wood with the medley song of the nightingales, but you wandered there with me.
Andrew, we must stop this. We really must stop this. But I know
okay,
I've really run out of time.
Let me conclude the story of Sappho, then I'll not go into any scientific philosophy.
In a very few seconds, yes.
That male posterity avenged itself upon her by inventing or handing over the story that she died of an unrequited love for a man. A passage in Swedish talks of how the courtesan Sappho, in quote unquote, leaped to death from a cliff on the island of Lucas, because fair and the sailor would not return her love. In truth, we know not how she died or when, but we know that she left behind a vivid memory of passion, tenderness, and grace, and that she even saw above her Ulysses as the most melodious singer of her time. Now, the last second. Westwards, the exuberant Greeks moved their ships and tents, colonizing the isles of the western Adriatic, moving forward into Italy and founding there the once famous cities of Sybaris and Crotona. Sybaris gave its name to leisure luxury. Crotona gave history the vegetarian athlete Milo, winner of both the Olympic and Pythian Games, and Pythagoras, the most famous Greek philosopher before Socrates. So next time we come, let's talk about Pythagoras.
Interesting. I really don't want to go into another extensive discussion on where you pick this from, how you came to put it in and cram it, but that is for another discussion. And that was a special edition of Newsnight.